Fully vaccinated international students will be able to return to New South Wales without having to quarantine. The first flight with 250 students from all around the world will arrive in Sydney in less than a month. The Premier says it is a significant milestone in the state's roadmap to recovery, contributing not only to the economy but the culture and the community. Joining me live now is the CEO of Universities Australia, Catriona Jackson. Catriona, thanks so much for your time. This is good news, but it's only 250 students. What is the plan over the next couple of months? What can you tell international students looking to come back to Australia?
Look, what I can say, Laura, is we are so close. That's 250 on December 6, another 250 before the end of the year, just in New South Wales, and plans in other states are moving. I'd prefer they were moving a bit quicker, but we're very close to the finish line here. We're looking really, really optimistic for students to get back into Australia in time for first semester next year, back into classes with their friends, back making the fantastic contribution we all know they make.
Look, at this point, that would be the goal, wouldn't it? Just to be getting everyone on campus in time for the semester one in 2022. Yep. Now, originally there was going to be a pilot program, that there would be quarantine facilities. So has all that specialised quarantine facilities for international students now been scrapped altogether?
Look, it varies so much around the country, Laura. I mean, you and your listeners will have been struggling to keep up with this as much as I have. Every time you look, the arrangements are a bit different. I think there'll be probably a need for quarantine in some places around the country for quite a while. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on in Western Australia. You know, anyone can tell me, please do. But I think there'll be a need for quarantine. I think New South Wales has made a very careful, very health-aware decision about the entry process for their students. When these students have got a TGA recognised vaccine before they come into the country, they're being very carefully handled when they get here. So it's being done really in line with health protocols, but without the need to quarantine once they get here. I mean, the game has completely changed because we've really upped our act on the level of vaccination we've got here in this country. And these students are doing the right thing, being very careful, getting their TGA-approved vaccines before they come back.
How many students are currently locked out of Australia at the moment?
Look, there's about 130,000 of them. So, wow. You know, we need to move. So that's people who've got current visas. They're students who, for in the most part, look, and they've made a significant investment in Australia. Many of them have been here to study previously and have just been waiting, many studying online, being so patient as they want nothing more than to get back here. There was a really interesting study in the press this morning. They've done a great big AI analysis of a whole lot of students' Twitter feeds or social media feeds, and that's where we know students talk to each other and really talk about how they feel. And the really surprising and welcome thing from that study is that sentiment about Australia has gone up in the last 12 months and is higher than the UK, Canada, and the US. These students so want to come back.
Why can't we just get a date, particularly for New South Wales? I mean, the 500 is welcome. We know that Dominic Perrottet has always been keen to get students back as soon as they can. Why can't we just have a date for people who are vaccinated?
Look, Laura, we've been having good conversations with the federal government, and all Vice-Chancellors and university leadership teams have been talking to state and territory authorities. I am hoping we will see an announcement soon which takes international students in a group that is economically and socially really important to the country, and we get some sort of uniformity, because it is confusing. It's confusing for university administrations, but mostly it's confusing for students wanting to come back. There are different rules for different states and territories. It's really important we get some sort of national consistency here, so we can just make it really clear that what we all individually feel is what the nation feels. We are missing these people. We really want to see them back. They're really important to us as a nation, really important to our university communities, but the communities in which universities exist, you know, our cities, our towns, our rural areas, just can't wait for them to get back, and we need a consistent message from all levels of government to make it really clear that we are working as hard and fast as we can to make sure that the little barriers that are still left, just a couple of hurdles to go, get knocked over intelligently and systematically so we can welcome them back.
Exactly, 130,000 students waiting to get back in. Catriona Jackson, thanks so much for your time as always.